Good morning. This is the third time I've tried doing this, and I finally gave up, and I'm just gonna record it and then post it. So I'm not talking to my stream people over here. Although that'd be kind of cool if I could still do that while I'm recording. But this morning we're gonna talk about doctor's appointments, and I kept glitching out, so I have no idea what the live streams even saw. So I'm just gonna start fresh. Although my plan this morning was to actually call and make an appointment because I have to. Because my dentist canceled my appointment for April during spring break just now. But they're actually closed, so I can't even make an appointment because they're not sure when they're going to open again. But what I would do is, here, let's practice. Good morning. My name's Grace Willard, and I need to reschedule my appointment. See how I didn't pause too long when I messed up or restart? Yep. Early May works for me. Tuesday mornings are best. Sure. My birthday is. And I will see you then. Tuesday morning, May 5th at 8 a.m. No, I don't need a reminder card. Thank you. Have a great day. So, that was fake, but that was the idea. That was what I was hoping to do. On here. But whatever. So that's how we make an appointment. We clearly state who we are. We have our either our phone number ready for a missed call, like a voicemail, or we have our birth date ready, because that's how they make sure that we are actually us and not somebody else. If somebody knows your birthday, I understand that they can do that still. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now, I really wish my hotkeys would work, are the different forms you have to fill out when you go to the doctor for the very first time. Sometimes you have to fill these out repeatedly, but these are the first time ones for sure. So here's ones from a local doctor. There's 7 forms here. Crazy. So here's all my 7 forms. The first one is just reading it, and the second one's signing it, so they're not really different. So maybe there's really 6 forms to do, but it really does take a while. So that's why when they say that you have like a 9:30 appointment, they tell you to show up at 9:15, so that way you can read all these, sign them, figure it out, make your phone calls, and I'll tell you why you might need to make some phone calls in a second. So let's talk about a couple specifically that I chose to show you. Most of them are just sort of they make sense, but I'm trying to find the slideshow. There we go. Here's one specifically that I want to talk about. So this is the consent to treat a minor form, or whatever it is. The top part right here is who can call in and get information from you, or who can the clinic call and give information to. Now, this is usually your mom and your dad. And there's a third line for somebody else. When you get a little bit older, it might just be one of your parents and your significant other. That happens too. Usually, or some people wait until they're married to write anybody's name down legally on here, and other people are like, oh my god, and just write the name down immediately. So just be aware, so that way you can change it if you need to. I do want to highlight something on here though. So this is a very specific section of that form. It's the bottom half, or bottom middle half, I don't know. So up here was the people's names. Here are the check all that apply, that says all the information that they can give to those people above. Now I want to talk about being a minor right here. You need to sign this to give any information about reproductive care, which is down there. STDs, but if you're 13 and younger, they will be able to tell whoever's up there about STDs that you have. Honestly though, if you have an STD when you're 13 or younger, your parents should know anyways. It might be a situation where somebody is taking advantage of you. No, I don't want to talk about that. My first boyfriend didn't treat me right, but I didn't know that. And so that would have been nice for somebody to know. HIV and AIDS, same thing, 13 and younger. If you're 12 and under doing drugs or alcohol, That's something that they can tell. The people that are listed above, and your mental health or illness if you're 12 and younger, which is a very common thing now for people, especially your age, especially going through so much right now, to be stressed out, depressed, all the usuals. So you sign it. You have to sign this. They can't just say that you will be okay with them telling everybody all this stuff over here. You have to sign it too. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to these forms. So that was the middle section of this one, and then you can sign to cancel it if you don't, if you did the thing where you were like, this person definitely is always going to be around and then they're no longer around anymore, you can cancel it and just fill out a new one for the next person. Or just wait. Just be your own person. Write your dad down every single time. Beautiful. Okay. Let's talk about patient information and stuff, because this is something that every single time I always had to call my dad for. So here's all my information. This takes a while. It really does. Let me see if I need to highlight anything here. Your address and your mailing address might be different if you have a P.O. box. My grandma will not send anything to her house that has any personal information on it. All of that goes to a P.O. box. Right now, I can't get a P.O. box, so everything goes to my mailbox, but it's fine. So that would be why your address is different than your mailing address. If it's the same, you would just write same or see above. You might not have all three: cell phone, home phone, work phone. You might just have a cell phone and be good. That's fine. I usually don't give them my work phones. I don't want phone calls at work. That's really weird to me. Sex and gender, I'm so sorry for those of you who identify differently. I think they just want reproductive organs, which is so dumb. But you can write a box on there for what you identify as for pronouns too. I don't care. They don't care. They do care. They want you to be happy. Marital status is whether or not you're married. They don't care if you're in a relationship long time, unless it's a, I wish the chat was open. You would tell me this word. The one where you live together long enough that it counts as marriage. That one. Your employer, if you have one, they don't need to know about your babysitter experience. They mean like me teaching at the high school. Occupation, you would just put student. And then your emergency contacts. These are two people who you trust in an emergency to make a good call for you. This is not you. It's not your own cell phone. This, for me, is my dad and my grandma. And I love my mom, and she might watch this one day and wonder why. She told me a long time ago not to contact her in case of emergency because she freaks out. She gets all scared. She goes, oh man, and then nothing happens. And so my dad's very calm under pressure, and my grandma knows where to reach everybody. And so that's why those two are my two contacts. My grandma's always home, and she can call anybody. And I just say father and grandma. Insurance information right here. Most of you only have one set of insurance, but you might have two. Because until you're 26, as far as the law stands, as far as I know, you are on your parents' insurance. You're allowed. The law might change. It might have changed already, but when I was younger, growing up, it was until I was 26. I turned 26 in May. The insurance stops working the end of the month that you are turned 26. But nobody told me. Nobody contacted me. None of them let me know. And so I ended up without insurance for like 3 or 4 months until I could apply for the next year. That's not 3 or 4 months. That's 7 months. I was out of insurance for like 7 months. It was not good. But while you're on your parents' insurance, that's your primary insurance because it's probably better than whatever you have from your work. All this information's on your insurance card. The ID number, the group number. It'll even say group number and stuff like that. Here's the problem. My dad, or whoever's parent, was my subscriber. I never remembered my dad's date of birth. I knew it was Flag Day, but I never remembered what day that was. So I always had to look it up, and then I always had to call him because I could never remember what his what the year he was born. Now I remember, but oh my goodness, that took me so long. So whenever you go to the doctor, call your whoever is your insurance parent and say, hey, can I just have your date of birth right now so I don't have to worry about it while I'm at the doctor's? And then who their employer is. So like my dad works for Microsoft, so it was, David Willard, 6/15/65, father, Microsoft. And that was what it was. And then if I happened to have insurance through another work, I was a teacher at the time. I opted out of insurance and my dad's insurance was better, but I could use my secondary insurance here and that would be through me. And then if you really have more insurance, you can do more down here. But most people don't have more than 2, so they leave that as an option. And oh my goodness, excuse me, you will need your insurance card and your ID because they take a scan of both. They scan them to make sure that they're there. I don't know why. Keep them on file. Okay, and then this was part 1 of that. This was part 1 of the patient demographic, ethnicity, race, and language stuff. And you might be wondering, where was all that race and language stuff? It's right here. Ta-da! Now this is most of the time your best guess, unless you're like super into Ancestry.com or whatever. You could also prefer not to answer, and there's this down here part where you can express to them what language you'd like to speak in. A lot of doctors are multilingual, and a lot of them have a network where they can call somebody and translate for them on the phone, which is super cool. So you can always, not all of these are common languages, but you can absolutely say that you prefer to speak in that language. I don't know if you can check more than one, but I bet you can. Okay. I don't know why you'd prefer not to answer that, but that's fine. So, that's how that works. I think those are all the forms that I wanted to highlight the things for. Now, I don't think I said this on this stream. I said it on one of the 2 earlier. You need to be honest with your doctor. It's scary because they know your parents' information from all these forms you filled out, and you might be afraid that they'll tell them something that you don't want them to know. If you are drinking, if you are having sex without protection or even with protection, if you are, even if it's with somebody who's illegal, right, somebody way older than you, or if you're having if you're doing marijuana or if you're doing the marijuana, if you're smoking or drinking, they need to know. And there's 2 reasons that they need to know. One is that that one of those things might explain one of the problems that you're having. Okay, so even if you don't think it's related, they need to know. The other thing is that any medication they prescribe to you might react with something that they are that you're taking. So you really don't want to mix like drugs and alcohol, and they mean like prescription drugs too. If you are feeling depressed, they might not want to give you certain medications that highlight depression. And if you don't tell them that, they're not going to know. It might surprise you, but doctors aren't mind readers. They're body readers. They can tell all kinds of things about your body, but they can't read your mind. So you really do need to tell your doctor the truth, because otherwise they're not going to know. You have to tell them everything. It's scary. When I was younger, I was in a loving relationship with a terrible person. I don't like them anymore, but they were great at the time. And I needed to be safe. Now, I didn't want to go to my doctor because my parents' insurance was attached to that, but I did want to be safe. So I went to Planned Parenthood with my very own money, because they don't require you to have insurance to go there, which is kind of cool. You can use it, but they don't require it. And then, got my birth control, whatever it was. They asked all these health questions, which was pretty cool too. And then, like a couple months later, there was a Planned Parenthood letter on my mom's table, and I was like, oh, they're telling her stuff. They're giving her information. So I asked her kind of casually, oh, what's that for? And apparently, When she was pregnant with me, they helped her get through that. Helped her make good decisions, which is to keep me around, because I'm a pretty cool kid. And so she donates to them every month, and that was, or I don't know if it's every month or every year, but that was their like, thank you for your donation letter. So that scared me so bad, but it's all good. So that was terrifying, and I'm glad I didn't give myself up by like stealing it and reading it or something, so I'd be like, oh, sorry, there was just this letter in the mail, I don't know what it was for. So, and they're actually pretty cool, because I don't even know if they're still around. They're still fighting the system. They'll ask you if it's safe to call you. And what they do is they say, hey, this is your friend Penny from school. Can I talk to you for a second? Or whatever. They use Penny. And that way it's your friend Penny and not Planned Parenthood calling. So that way if you answer your phone, or if somebody else answers your phone, or if it's on speakerphone or something like that, it's a lot safer. Pretty cool. So you can, like, there's like a checkbox you can do. Not a plug for Planned Parenthood. I'm not advocating or anything, but there are safe ways for you to be safe in general. And you can also, you can talk to your doctor about not wanting to drink anymore, or having some issues, or ways to quit things that you don't think are healthy, or that others don't think are healthy. There's different ways. So just remember that your doctor will only tell on you if you're planning on hurting yourself, which is a good thing, or if somebody's hurting you, then they'll tell, and they won't tell the person that's hurting you. That's the same thing that I have to do. I'm a mandated reporter, so if you were like, hey, I want to tell you something, and I'm like, just remember, if you're going to hurt yourself or if somebody's hurting you, I have to tell, because I care about you, and I want you to be successful. So, let's be all sappy about it. But really, otherwise, if you just want to tell me about your cool weekend, tell me about your cool weekend. I don't mind. I like knowing things about you. But just remember, I'm a mandated reporter. So are doctors. So don't hurt yourself. Love yourself. Once again, I really need ideas. So if you have any, let me know. Next time I might talk about probability. I might do something about cooking, because that's one of the things that Reddit keeps saying that people need to know before they become an adult. But I've done all the things that they keep telling me to do. And this is the last one that somebody's actually asked me for. So request things. This is your YouTube. Ask me what you want to know. Hey, let's collect knowledge like Corvids collect shiny things. And I'm going to post this, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye!